Hello, everyone, and welcome back to It's Always Sunny in Hollywood for our first episode of 2022.
Hooray!
We've been doing this for almost a year, folks.
When did we
Almost.
first start? March?
February. I'm pretty
February.
sure.
Damn.
End of February.
Fuck.
Well,
Jesus.
Yeah, we got through 36 episodes last year, which is pretty good. So,
So we
That's
start
almost
anew.
52. That's
We start anew
yes.
with episode 37. My name is Patrick, and joining me are
I am Red, Drum Arts.
and you can call me Lugia.
Yes.
All right. So usually, if this is your first time on the podcast, how it usually works is we talk about some news that happened over the past week, or in this case, weeks, and then we jump into the movie. But for this episode, since it's a new year, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about what we did over the break. We're going to sprinkle in some entertainment news that stuck out to us, but this is going to be more personal.
Yeah. So,
Primarily also because we've been away for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, and there was a lot that happened, and most of it I have nothing to say about, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. I guess since last episode, I had all my finals. Luckily, it turns out I passed. I actually did a lot better in some of the classes than I thought I was gonna do. So hell yeah, managed to make it through this semester. How'd you guys do in class? I guess.
I managed to get by
Same.
pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, same boat. I just passed my statistics class.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I was kind of hanging by a thread in that one, but like I pushed through, tried my
Yeah.
damnedest, and
Congratulations. That is
made it through.
That class
Yeah.
is horseshit.
I need to tell you.
Such a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I need to tell you some very weird bullshit. Two of my classes, the way they were graded is that I did not actually know my grade for the entire year or the entire semester because the way it was graded is it was graded by your position in class. So basically, the bottom like 15% failed, and you just had to do better than that 15%, and like each grade would be an increment. So like C was the next upper 15, and C plus was the next upper 15, and then B is next 15, A next 15, so on, like that. So like whole semester I didn't know, and so for one of those classes I ended up actually getting a B plus, and I was like, holy shit, I did great. And then the other one I got a C plus, and I was like, you know what, that's better than I thought I was gonna do. So I'm like, I'll take it, like hell yeah. And then
I
after
don't
that,
understand grading systems like that. I get they're trying to encourage people to get high grades, but at the same time, that kind of fucks over everybody else.
Yeah, and the weird thing is like, you'd think that'd make people more competitive, but it oddly like it did, but it oddly also like didn't because people were still actively helping each other out and stuff. So like I guess they're like, yeah, I guess we could fuck you over, but like not. We're all like in the same shitty boat, so I guess I'll help you out. Yeah. Yeah, and then like a bunch of my friends they went out to see like the new Spider-Man, so I was like, oh, that's cool. Apparently that passed the $1 billion box office.
That it did. I believe it's was the second film to reach that mark the fastest, with Endgame being the first.
Yeah, which
I think it
makes
reached that in like
sense because like
10 days or something.
this is basically the Spider-Man equivalent of Endgame.
Mhm.
Lugia, have you seen it yet?
No,
Well, while we're on the subject of movies, the three of us saw Encanto over the
Yeah.
break
That is right,
together.
yeah.
We can talk
Yeah.
about that for a bit.
I really, really liked it. It was like my favorite Disney movie since I'm gonna say Wreck-It Ralph. That was the last time I really liked a Disney movie. I think I still might like Wreck-It Ralph a little bit more, but that might just be nostalgia talking. Who knows?
This
Yeah,
was
definitely my top 10 of the year at least.
This was probably the most I've enjoyed a Walt Disney animated film since Zootopia, to be perfectly honest. Like the ones in between, like I liked Moana. Frozen 2 was all right. I didn't see Raya and the Last Dragon yet, but
Ooh, I did not like that one.
all right. Well, I really really liked Encanto. Like I loved the music.
Yeah.
I loved the characters.
Yeah, this is like
Gorgeous.
This is like top 10. For
I'm
me.
more or less on the same boat with Red. I'm not really a big fan of Disney films after Wreck-It Ralph, but I felt like this one stood out to me the most. I didn't really like Frozen all that much, or Moana. I mean, they were good films, they weren't anything special to me. I don't
This
know.
is
I
like
feel like Encanto did a pretty good job balancing its themes, its music.
yeah, most
It
of
looks
the
fucking
Disney
great.
movies after Wreck-It Ralph, I gave like below an 8. Most of them are like 7s or below. This one strong 8 out of 10 for me. I
For
really
me,
liked what was your favorite songs?
honestly, my favorite song is Surface Pressure. Yeah,
That
The
was
one where
my
yeah,
the
that was
thick
the one with the
girl.
buff lady.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, my top 3 is definitely the opening number, We Don't Talk About Bruno, and yeah, Surface Pressure.
Yeah, I know everybody talks about we don't talk about Bruno, but my God, Surface Pressure like jams.
Yeah.
This was a crazy year for Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's had like I'm looking at just like the movies I saw from 2021, and this isn't even like all of them. He was involved in so many projects this year. So
There were a lot of musical movies this year.
yeah,
Like
yeah, like yeah, there was
it
okay,
was In
so
the Heights.
Encanto he did the
In,
music for. In
yeah,
the Heights was based off his play.
Tick Tick
Tick Tick
Boom.
Boom he directed, but that was based off a Jonathan Larson
Yeah,
play. He did the music for
Devo.
Vivo also, so that's 4 Lin-Manuel Miranda
Hmm.
projects.
Yeah,
And there was also West Side Story and Dear Evan Hansen.
and also there was like a Cinderella movie on Amazon, and there was also
Yeah, it was a jukebox musical. Those don't count.
everybody's talking about Jamie.
Oh, I didn't hear about that one.
I've heard great things. I haven't seen it myself, though I want to.
Okay, cool. Great movie. It kind of reminded me of like the Royal Tenenbaums by Wes Anderson in a way because of the whole broken family dynamic and everyone having a sort of unique gift. Also kind of remind me of Succession, just because though that's probably just because that show ended recently and it's like probably my favorite show airing on TV. So I guess did I already talk about this last episode? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
It's been
Okay,
2
whatever.
weeks. Of course we will.
What? Okay, whatever. Watch Succession. Great show about family dynamics. It's like a good family. It's like a good dramedy. I'd say it's like this is gonna sound like the most bizarre shit ever, but imagine like Arrested Development mixed with Game of Thrones, which sounds insane, I know, but this show is not only that, but it's that tonally because this show's really funny, but it's also like a serious drama. It's great. I highly recommend it. It was produced by Adam McKay, who made a movie that I'm gonna talk about soon. Should I get into that, or do you have
Why not?
Might
things
as
to say
well.
about
We're talking
Encanto?
about movies right now, so
We're
yeah,
jumping all over the place. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
okay.
Lack of
So
structure. Woo!
Adam McKay recently released this movie called Don't Look Up. Have you guys seen it? It's on Netflix.
You
Yes, I did.
No. Actually, my
Okay.
father told me about it and he really liked it.
Okay. Well, that's gonna be interesting because it's my second least favorite movie of the year. I hated it.
I'm guessing Dear Evan Hansen is the first.
Oh yeah, no, Dear Evan Hansen might be like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like, holy
Now
shit,
I'm
that is
conflicted.
awful.
I have one person telling me it was really good and I have another telling me don't fucking watch it.
Well, here's the
What
thing.
do I do?
This movie, I know which audience will like this movie, and that's liberal, like old people, like boomers. Like, I know my dad will probably like this if he watches it, because this is a movie that is made for people our parents' age, but it is not made for me. Even though I agree with the like message, this movie's
guess,
not made for me.
I guess it makes sense. I wasn't too fond of it. My parents liked it though.
Yeah, this movie,
It had its moments, but overall, eh.
this movie's made for people that still think SNL is funny, like regularly funny, when like instead of just like once in a while. Because this movie is really, really unsubtle. And I feel like a lot of people are excusing that because like they're saying, "Oh, is this trying to inform people like The Big Short was?" And I'm like, I don't think this is informing anyone. I think this is just like patting people who already agree on the back. And I'm like, I'm not into movies like that. I do like McKay's previous movies, by the way. This isn't like a diss on him. The Big Short, I think, is a good movie, and I think it does what this movie was trying to do but failed at. And then you got Vice, which is about Dick Cheney. You know, that movie's kind of blunt and unsubtle, but surprisingly, there's a lot of people who don't realize how shitty Dick Cheney is. So, like, you know what? Fine, I can accept that movie. This one, though, I'm like, really? It's climate change. Like, I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about now?
Christmas. Christmas
Yes.
happened. What'd you guys
Christmas
get?
And New Year's.
What'd you guys
Uh,
do?
Christmas Eve, I went to New York with my family.
Really?
Yes, we saw a play. We went to like Broadway or off
Oh,
Broadway.
you went to Broadway
Yeah,
in the middle of everything that's been going on, with shows closing.
we got a Groupon ticket for Charlie Brown Christmas. So we saw a play rendition of Charlie Brown Christmas. The actor that played Lucy, you really killed it. Holy shit, that fucking felt like Lucy, definitely. Also watching Charlie Brown as an adult, it's honestly like kind of hilarious. I feel like this is something I just didn't question as a kid, the psychiatric help like thing, but I'm like, man, it's honestly really fucking funny that these kids are like, I'm not gonna make a lemonade stand. I'm gonna make a stand for psychiatric help for children. Like that is honestly like such a good joke. That's like what I liked. That's what I love about like Calvin and Hobbes. And, like the Peanuts is definitely like the direct predecessor to Calvin and Hobbes. That speech that Linus gives about the meaning of Christmas is such a good piece of writing. And what I find fascinating is apparently like Charles Schulz was like he wasn't like a religious guy. He was sort of like teetering like on agnostic. He kind of like questioned it a bit. And like, but that's still such like a well written speech about religion. And I was like, man, also, how the fuck did he pitch this show? He was like, "Hey, Charles, you want to make a Christmas special based off your silly cartoons?" I'm like, "All right, what's it gonna be about?" And Charles is like, "Okay, so how about it's about how much, how cynical and depressed Charlie Brown has gotten due to the commercialization of Christmas." And then at the end we have Linus give like a 5-minute speech about God. What the
Fr-
fuck, Charles?
From what I understand, from what I've read, he wanted the special to be about the true meaning of Christmas.
Yeah, and I think
Like
he
he
succeeded.
intentionally didn't want it to be like the commercial. It's not about the commercialization because he
Yeah, I
wanted to steer
know.
away from all that.
And it was really good. I think he succeeded. But like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just funny that how he pitched that, and then a funny story I heard is that like, so this movie is made like really really short on like a low budget, like half hour, like a month it took them to
It took
make
them
this
like
entire thing.
6 months, and the whole reason it exists is because of the Coca-Cola company.
Yeah,
They wanted a holiday special to promote during the holiday season.
yeah,
They're
and a
like,
lot of
hey,
the
why
people
don't you make one?
and all the people working on it, they thought this special was gonna be a bomb. Except
Mm-hmm.
like apparently one dude at the rap party was like, "I think this is gonna last 100 years or whatever," and I was like, shut up, Jim, fuck you."
And now Jim is laughing all the way to I don't know wherever he
bank.
is now.
100 years.
Yeah, that. We're 55, 56.
Yeah.
give or
Anyway,
take.
so after the Charlie Brown thing, we went to a stand-up show. We saw like a bunch of comedians. One of them I recognized from TikTok, so that was cool. And yeah, they were moderately funny. One of the comedians was like really bad though, but yeah, I'm not gonna diss him, I guess.
Lugia, what'd you do over Christmas?
Well, actually, that would have led nicely into the discussion of the movie, but I guess I could share it now. I was supposed to go on a skiing trip with my family after Christmas Day. Keyword being was, because we didn't, and there's a one word for that, and I think you know what word that is.
COVID?
Yeah?
Oh,
Uh,
dang.
yeah, I
Um,
was supposed to go to a New Year's Eve party, but that got canceled.
Yeah, so we
'cause
had to
of COVID.
cancel plans.
is
We're gonna try
everybody
going
okay?
March, but
Is everybody okay?
yeah, we're fine. No one's infected.
Speaking of
Okay.
COVID, that's relevant to what I did on Christmas too.
Well, actually, before you get into that, I actually did go skiing.
Oh,
Before
cool.
Christmas, actually. Me and some friends went on a 3-day. Technically, we skied for 1 day, but we were there for 3 days. The car broke down on the drive up. Actually,
Oh.
Ah,
we were an
Oof.
hour. It was like a 6-hour drive or something. We were like an hour away, and the car just stopped. So
oh shit. Okay, yeah. That's
it was
kinda
supposed to be a 6-hour drive. It turned into a 10-hour day.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bore you with the details, but
At least you're
skiing
alright.
was great. Skiing was great. First time skiing in 2 years. Felt great to be back on the powder, back on the mountain.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't take me 2 more years to get back.
Anyway, on Christmas Day, I had a bunch of family visiting. How about you guys? You guys see any?
Saw a few family members. Pretty low key though because of the whole pandemic. Quite nice though.
Yeah.
Christmas Day we were just lazy.
I was with my family, my extended family for Christmas Eve, and well, that turned out to be a big mistake.
Yeah. I know my family. we went to see this Indian movie called 83 in theaters. It was basically like a generic sports biopic on Cricket World Cup in 1983 because India
Mm.
won major. It was like mediocre. I give it like a 5 out of 10. It's like it wasn't a bad experience, but it was like the most generic sports movie ever. It's like Cool Runnings on crack.
So what'd you guys get for Christmas?
Nothing. I guess Skyward Sword because that's what Lugia got me. Yeah, I don't really celebrate Christmas.
I got food mostly.
I got food, and I gave my mom an air fryer.
Clearly you don't
Yeah.
have an air fryer.
Mostly
God,
gummies.
I love the Robert Downey Jr. air fryer meme. I guess it's just slightly irrelevant. So the day after Christmas, I watched The Nice Guys by Shane Black, and then after that I watched Iron Man, which is I don't know, I guess kind of funny. But yeah, and then I saw Iron Man 3 like the day after. So anyway,
Makes sense. It is a Christmas movie.
yes. But here's my thing. So The Nice Guys was like my favorite movie when I was 15 or 16. And I'm now convinced that whatever your favorite stuff is when you're 15, 16 is just permanently ingrained in you because I saw this movie and this was so good. Nice Guys, honestly, still a 10 out of 10 movie. Still one of my favorites. One of my top 10 favorite movies. It was unbelievably funny and well written. First Iron Man also really holds up. I recommend it. Top 4, top 5 Marvel. Iron Man 3, honestly, this one surprised me the most because I really love this movie more than most people. But after rewatching it, I think this is my favorite Marvel movie, like MCU movie. I highly recommend you guys see it. It's also a good end to Iron Man's arc, even though his arc continues for like 5 years after this because they decided to just ignore this movie's ending. But whatever, it's a good movie. This one's more of like Iron Man 3, this is gonna sound weird, but it's like Mission Impossible 4 mixed with PTSD, mixed with a Terminator movie.
I have seen Iron Man 3. I've seen all the Iron Mans actually, but all of them once in theaters.
Yeah.
I've never seen them all the way through. I remember catching 1 and 3 for a bit.
1 and 3, I would definitely recommend rewatching. 2, you can honestly skip. It's not that important.
The only thing I remember about 2 was that Sam Rockwell was in it. And he
Yeah,
was angry
okay.
at this guy.
Actually, that's worth watching because Sam Rockwell's character is great. His name is
remember, like,
Justin
he gives-
Hammer.
I just remember like he gives this guy a bird, then he takes it away, and he's like, "This is how I feel."
Yeah.
That's
I
all
want
I
my-
remember.
Mickey Rourke is just like, I want my bird. And he's like, oh, yeah, I want my bird. Yeah, Iron Man movies are weird. Yeah, also, actually, since we're just on the MCU, I guess I'll get just knocked out of the way. I saw the Hawkeye show. It's also a Christmas show, interestingly enough. Whole show took place on Christmas, or the week leading up to Christmas, and the episode ended on Christmas. You guys see Hawkeye?
No,
No.
I'm not an
Okay,
MCU person.
Okay, I would say this is the best thing from the MCU in years, which is well, actually, I'd say the best thing in the MCU in years, but No Way Home was actually really good. So like, ignoring No Way Home, technically this came out before No Way Home, so before No Way Home,
So the
best thing
second
in the
best
MCU.
thing in the
Yeah.
MCU.
Best thing in the MCU in years. I'd put this in my top 10, just like No Way Home. This is like, I don't know, number 7 or whatever. Highly recommend it. It's funny, got good action, and good chemistry. Haley Steinfeld really kills it. Haley Steinfeld's great in everything. She was in True Grit, underrated Coen Brother movie. She was in Bumblebee, the best Transformers movie. She was in Spider-Verse, the best Spider-Man movie. So hey, connection to Spider-Man there. Yeah, she's wonderful. She's a great actress.
Only other thing I want to bring up, speaking of actresses, is you guys heard Betty White passed away.
Yes.
Yes, 99. We were talking about this before
Chris-
the episode
Chris,
started.
no, not Christmas. New Year's Eve. Like,
Yeah.
And just a few weeks before her 100th birthday.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe
think
it.
part of me thinks like she did it on purpose. Like this is some epic prank because People Magazine like just the day before was just like had the issue and be like, oh, we're celebrating Betty's 100. She had all these like deals celebrating her 100th, and then she died before she turned 100. I'm like, man, Betty is a comedian, so I'm like that feels like a good note to just end out on a giant like joke.
Dude,
But yeah,
Betty,
rest in peace, Betty.
Betty White survived both 2016 and 2020.
Yeah.
She
And
is-
2021 by extension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is
A
she is
lot
a
of people
legend.
actually.
She is.
Yeah.
May she rest in peace.
A lot of
Thank you,
people
Billy.
passed away. Actually, John
Sure.
Madden passed away.
Mm.
Most people know him probably from the Madden video games that are named after him, but he's a legend in football, a famous coach and commentator. So rest in peace, John Madden.
Yeah.
One of the Boganoff twins died. You know, from the memes. Joan Didion also passed away at 87. She's an acclaimed writer. So rest in peace. And I guess in happy deaths, Ghislaine Maxwell is guilty on 5 out of 6 counts.
That's really all I wanted to talk about. You guys ready to get into the movie?
More or
Well,
less.
almost. I guess I'll just talk about like the last few movies I saw. Any of you guys see The Matrix 4?
Nope.
No, I have heard very controversial things about that movie, though.
Yeah, I've heard
All
mixed
right.
things.
It's a movie that you'll really like if you appreciate the meta stuff on it and sort of yeah, I liked it a lot. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. It's probably the worst of the Matrix sequels. Well, maybe better than Revolutions, but it's very weird. It's incredibly meta, which obviously is not going to click with some people, and I guess some people don't like the plot. A lot of people think it's a cash grab. That I vehemently disagree with. This definitely feels like something she wanted to do, though granted, clearly she only did it because Warner Brothers was gonna make a Matrix movie with or without her, so she was gonna be like, I'm gonna make it on my own terms. And
I did
yeah,
hear that due to the pandemic, when production halted, she considered canceling the movie, like, and just not finishing it.
yeah,
But she was urged to keep going.
yeah,
So this could have been a lost movie.
yeah.
Interesting.
I find it funny how it seems like general audiences won't dig with it, but the thing is, like, a lot of them didn't dig the Matrix series to begin with. What I find interesting is that this is better received than the third Matrix movie. So a lot of people that like this, like I'm seeing people that don't like any of the movies after the first one liking this, and people who like from my experience, I think almost everybody has a different opinion on the Matrix series. Like there's some people that like all the sequels, some people that only like one of the sequels, some people that don't like none of the sequels, some people that like the fourth one and the first one, but not the other sequels. Some people that like the third one more than the second one. Like everyone's got a different opinion. This is a weird series.
Also,
So I would just recommend just watching all of them and forming your own opinion. But yeah.
those of you who own HBO Max, this is the last movie from Warner Brothers you're going to be able to watch day and date the same day it comes out in theaters.
Yeah.
So they did.
Um
Warner Brothers did the whole thing this year. They're not doing it anymore.
so John Wick since we're just on Keanu, John Wick 4 apparently got delayed until 2023, which is like a lot of people upset. They're like, "Damn, that got delayed like really far back." That was supposed to come out when the Matrix Resurrections was initially coming out, like a couple months back. Like,
It was
and now
Keanu. It was a Keanu sequel versus a Keanu sequel, but COVID said nope.
Guys,
but
you know what just
what?
hit me?
What
What?
just hit you?
The Mario movie comes out this year.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Also, the Sonic sequel and Uncharted.
Oh, it's gonna be the year of the video game, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2022, the year of the gamer.
Oh god.
But the John Wick delay would mean more to me if I've seen the John Wick movies, but
Oh,
I
you
haven't.
seen the John Wick movies?
Not
Huh.
yet. I will though.
I
Yeah,
caught
they're-
Probably,
a bit of the
probably,
first one.
I probably just on my own time. Like I probably won't do it for the podcast.
Yeah,
Maybe. I don't know.
Now, speaking of action, apparently Dwayne the Rock Johnson is not returned to the Fast and Furious movies, which I think is interesting. I rewatched Hobbs and Shaw with my dad the other day. You guys actually watch any of the Fast and Furious movies?
I've seen a few of them.
I think I saw
they're dumb
7.
fun. They're dumb
Oh,
fun to me.
Yeah, 7's one of the good ones. Yeah. I know I talked about F9 earlier this year as like one of the, what I say, return to form. Yeah, I still think that. F9 was pretty good.
Okay, all right. Frozen. We good?
Yes.
I
Yeah. All
think
right.
so.
Let's actually.
Not to be
dive into
confused
this.
with the Disney film.
We'll get to that. Yes, we're not talking
Yeah.
about the Disney film. We're talking about the 2010 horror
Yeah.
film.
We
which
already talked about the
predated
Disney film a little bit.
a little bit when we brought up when we were talking about Encanto, but
In a
yeah,
one-sentence summary.
this ain't your little sister's Frozen. This is like your older brother's Frozen. You know, your older brother that listens to Twisted Sister. This is his Frozen.
Yeah.
It was written and directed by Adam Green, who created the Hatchet series of horror films, consisting of Hatchet 1, 2, 3, and Victor Crowley, also known as Hatchet 4. And he also created the TV show Holliston, though Frozen is arguably his most well-known work.
Yeah.
He got the idea for the movie when he was watching the news one morning and saw footage of a ski mountain during the weather forecast. And in the footage, he could see the chairlifts weren't moving and thought to himself, it's highly possible somebody could be left on a chairlift overnight and nobody would know. And that gave him an idea to make a movie about it. What's interesting about this movie is that the entire thing was shot practically, meaning there was no studio set, no green screen, and no CGI used at all. They actually filmed the actors 50 feet above the ground on a real chairlift at a real resort. More specifically, Snow Basin Resort in Huntsville, Utah. Fun fact about what made Green decide to use Snow Basin as the filming location. He and the film cinematographer traveled around to different resorts and rode on ski lifts to try to get a feel of what's the perfect place to film. And when they were riding at Snow Basin for the first time, at a certain point, Green felt he had found the location he was looking for, and he turned to the cinematographer and said, "This is where they die!" And at that moment, the chairlift stopped. So, meant to be, I guess. But, after a few minutes, the chair started back up again. And when they made it back down the mountain, one of the employees told Green that the spot where they stopped on the lift was the exact spot where a man shot himself several years earlier.
Oof.
Wow.
So, spooky.
Yeah.
But anyway, since the film was shot 50 feet above the ground, there were several instances where the camera crew was too scared to film, so Green took over filming duties himself.
Huh.
And it should be noted that Green has a fear of heights. And also during filming, the actors would spend several hours up on the chairlift with no food, water, or restroom breaks. So out of sympathy, Green did the same. So yeah, again, dedicated to his work. This is a guy I'd like to have lunch with. Just to have a conversation.
I have seen some interviews and behind the scene footage just because famous YouTuber YMS did a review of this movie, and I'm gonna be honest, this guy does seem to exaggerate a bit, but whatever. He seems like a cool dude. It's kind of funny. I was like, oh, everything's so real, and I was like,
Anyway.
it's not, but whatever.
The film made its way around several film festivals, including Sundance, and there were reports of audience members fainting and throwing up while watching the film, not unlike The Walk, the Robert Zemeckis movie we talked about a little ways back. Similar reaction. And a fun little fact. At one of the screenings, Green told the story about how where they shot the film, there was a guy who committed suicide. And a woman in the audience stood up and claimed that she knew the person they were talking about and that the story was true. I'm sure attendance at Snow Basin has since gone up. That was sarcasm, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, note to self, don't go skiing at Snow Basin.
Where is it located?
Utah.
Oh, Utah. We're never going there. Who cares?
The film released in early 2010 in a limited number of theaters. Reviews were mixed, and while the film's budget is unknown, it grossed $3.8 million worldwide. And in recent years, due to a certain other film with the name releasing and becoming a worldwide phenomenon, Adam Green's Frozen has frequently appeared in several articles alongside the Disney film, discussing movies that share the same name with each other that are nothing at all alike.
Yeah,
so,
I know that's why I mentioned YMS. The reason YMS even reviewed this movie was just because people were requesting him and asking him to review the Disney anime movie, and he just thought it'd be funny if he fuck with them and reviewed something completely unrelated.
I feel like that's how most people are aware of this movie.
Yeah.
Because it shares its name with the Disney film.
Yeah. That's actually not how I found out about this movie.
How did you find out about it?
So in middle school, I was channel surfing with my dad, and we both just stopped on this movie. And we're like, yeah, fuck it, why not? So we just watched this movie when I was like 12.
I don't remember how I came across this movie, actually.
My first exposure was through the YMS review.
I don't remember, honestly. It might have been because of the Disney movie. I know it wasn't through Your Movie Sucks.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
we mentioned YMS, but I remember nothing from the review, and I did not rewatch it for this. So
The only thing I remember was Adam constantly saying, "This movie is a comedy." That was
yeah,
it.
I mean, it was funny, but yeah.
If I had a nickel for every movie I've seen titled Frozen that starred an actress with the last name Bell and included a scene where the main character is a pack of hungry wolves, I'd have 2 nickels.
Oh yeah, I posted that
Isn't a lot.
image
It's
of
weird it happened
Olaf
twice.
earlier. I posted that image of Olaf earlier, right?
Yeah. On the cast, there's really only 3 people that matter. There's Emma Bell, Sean Ashmore, and Kevin Zegers.
Sean Ashmore, I want to find funny because Sean Ashmore's only other major role in film was as Iceman in the X-Men movies, and I'm like, man, this guy only does snow-related films, huh?
Yes,
His
so.
only
He likes
his
it
only
cold.
other major role was a fire dude in The Boys, and he was cast as that because I think they thought it was funny to cast Iceman as a fire dude. So he only did that for the irony. So like, yeah, this guy's just a snowman, I guess. Oh, that was no
before
pun
we-
intended.
Before we actually jump into this movie, there's one more fun fact I want to bring up. This is incredibly minor, but I thought it was funny. You guys notice at one scene when they're in the cafeteria, there's like a missing poster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
The
that like
person
an
on
actual
the
person?
no, let me explain. The person on the missing poster is of a guy named B.J. McDonnell who worked with Green on all of his previous films as a camera operator, and he was supposed to work with him on Frozen, but he signed on to work on a different film instead. So the poster's kind of a dig at him for not working on the
So
movie.
it's an inside joke.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was funny. But anyway, brief plot synopsis. Incredibly simple. Three people are going skiing one day, but after they try to get one last run in, the lift closes while they're on it, and it doesn't open again for 5 days. So they got to find a way to figure out how to survive both the freezing weather as well as a pack of hungry wolves beneath them. That's it.
Can you guess what happens?
I guess just get right into it. Not waste any more time because how far into this episode are we?
45 minutes, according to our
All
recording
right,
time.
that might be a record. Okay.
Yeah, that is a
So,
record.
So,
who wants to start?
I didn't think it was the worst thing ever. I thought like the first 2/3 are solid, and like the last third just kind of dragged a bit. Had okay tension at times. Would not say this is good. The dialogue, the writing, so corny, and the characters are very, very stupid.
Snowboards are too emo is a
Yeah.
line in this movie.
Yeah, and oh my god, I don't know why, but anytime like movies just reference Star Wars, it just kind of it just makes me cringe now. It's like, oh, the Sarlacc pit. I'm like, ah, fuck
Guys,
you.
it's topical. I get the reference.
I mean, it wasn't even topical. This was 2010. There were no Star Wars things coming out in 2010.
Actually, the
Star Wars was happening.
whole snowboards are too emo thing reminds me of a personal story. I think I told this to Patrick. But when I was in a skiing trip back in high school, I was with somebody, and on the lift, we were sandwiched between 2 drunk guys.
I remember the story.
Yeah. It was so fucking uncomfortable. And there was one guy on skis going down the mountain. The guy to the right of me just tossed his beer can at him and said, "Yo, fuck you for using skis." And I was using skis right next to him, and I thought, man, I'm gonna die because of this guy. It was so scary.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess I'm the emo one of the group because I'm the snowboarder.
Yeah, we got a ton of fun ski stories, but we're not going to waste your time with that. But
Yeah.
I will say there is one. This movie does kind of hit on a personal level because Luke, yeah, you were there for this story. We were in Red. We were taking a ski trip once with some friends in high school,
Yeah.
and we were on a lift traveling between 2 mountains to get back to our shuttle. It was late at night, and we were the only people on the lift. At one point, it stopped, and at that same moment, one of the lights went out,
Oh yeah.
and we freaked out for like 4 solid seconds before it started up again. So, this movie kind of hit me on a personal level.
That could have been us.
Yeah.
But I'd say overall, I thought the movie worked. It was exactly what I thought it was gonna be. So
Yeah.
I really can't.
The
be mad.
idea is fine. How it's executed is something I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. This movie cracked me up a lot, but it also got kind of like boring at times.
It
when
did.
the
I
wolf-
felt like this movie lost steam halfway through.
Yeah, when the wolf popped up, that cracked me up. Like, it was like, how the hell do you not notice? But it was like,
I can see why YMS said that this movie was a comedy. Because as soon as the lift stops, it starts hailing, there's wolves surrounding them. It's like, man, whatever force of nature is out there really must hate these kids.
Yeah, also Emma Bell, she started panicking like really quickly. Like I would have not panicked that fast. I've just been like, man, what's going on? I would have just cracked some jokes and because that did happen. Like in middle school, remember that one time we were on the ice lift and the lift just kind of stopped halfway through for no reason, and we just kind of dicked around, and then like after like 15 minutes, they finally like started up again. Like I didn't start freaking out and be like, I'm gonna jump.
I think they established that she's scared of heights in the movie because the lift stopped earlier during the day and she was freaking out.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's fair, I guess.
Also, guys, I don't know if it's just me, but you think that the two main guys, to me, they kind of look like Chris Pine and Chris Pratt. You guys notice that?
Yes. Which one? Like Sean Ashmore, like
Dan, the guy who was eaten by wolves first, he looks like Chris Pine, and the guy who was eaten by wolves second looks like Chris Pratt.
See,
Spoilers.
I think the guy who got eaten by wolves second, he reminded me of Iceman from he reminded me of you ever see the Lord of the Rings movies?
Yeah. I've only seen the first two.
He reminded me of like one of the hobbits in that, like I think like Pippin maybe? Merry or Pippin, one of those two. Honestly, I think it'd be really funny if like at the end of the movie they like it was just revealed that like this all happened in the span of like 20 minutes, and like right after she got off, the lift started moving again. And I'd be like, man, if they just stayed put, you would be like, I think that that's how I would have ended the movie, just make it like a dark comedy. But yeah,
I thought that when Joe was like almost at the pole to walk down the ladder, when his hands were between like pistons or whatever on the lift, I thought it was going to start moving and his hands were going to get crushed.
Yeah,
because I'm like, that seems like the logical thing that would happen because of how the movie is, but it didn't.
Yeah, I guess my favorite part is when they were climbing across the wire and like
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, like that was my favorite part of the movie, I'd say, just because cutting through the gloves, that's like an underrated detail. Like that's actually like true. That's cool.
The makeup in this movie for me is hit or miss. Like at some points it looks really good, other points it looks eh.
Yeah.
Like Dan's bone picking out through his leg.
That was the hardest scene to watch for me. This movie is not an easy watch, I'll say that.
If you want to get really uncomfortable, this is for you.
Almost as uncomfortable as the Sarlacc pit. That kept calling back to the Sarlacc pit, and I cringed every time, especially just because like the first time, because they're like, what's the Sarlacc pit? It's like, you don't know Star Wars? I'm like, man, Star Wars is not a nerd reference. Like, people know what it is. Like, come on. Like, I don't know why, but it's always just like a minor pet peeve of mine when people act like Star Wars is some obscure thing, and I'm like, it's like the highest grossing movie like ever, if you count for like inflation and shit. Like number 2 or number 3 or something is like, come on, people know what Star Wars is. Shut up. It's funny. I kind of associate skiing with Star Wars just because like in high school, Star Wars is always the movie that they'd play on the bus ride to the resort. That's how I saw like Empire Strikes Back the first time. I remember the shitty little TV on the.
I remember in middle school they always played Madagascar on the bus.
They did? I don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
I do.
I think they did once.
Nah, they did it a few times.
I feel like they let us pick movies each time, and like I remember,
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Didn't we watch Ponyo that way?
What? Yeah, because we did see Ponyo on one day. Yeah, because I remember like Patrick and we brought in like DVDs sometimes, just like our own DVDs, and they're like, all right, we'll vote on which one. I think we saw the B movie once.
Because we got tired of seeing Madagascar every time, and I'm like, hey, can I bring in a movie? Yeah, sure.
Oh, right. Okay, yes. Okay, so fair enough.
Okay, so that was the solution.
6th grade, yes. 6th grade, yes. We did see Madagascar a lot in 6th grade, but like after 6th grade, we stopped seeing. We like never saw Madagascar. Yeah.
This movie was pretty well shot. I did like the way it looked.
Some good camera angles here and there.
Yeah, like shot. It did a pretty good job conveying like the height and like the cold.
Yeah.
Some pretty cool shots of the mountain. Overall, not bad. One thing I did notice though, a lot of close-ups of Joe in the second half of the movie are out of focus slightly. I know it's an
Yeah.
incredibly minor detail, but like, it was weird.
Yeah, no, I noticed that too. It was weird.
It's supposed to convey that he's going to die.
I know,
it was just, they just fucked up.
No, I know when we talked about Throne of Blood, I said there were a few points where the camera was out of focus, but like I didn't cut it too much. I cut it some slack because it was only like a few shots. This is like every other shot
Yeah.
for some
Also,
reason.
Throne of Blood was shot in like the 60s when there was not video playback. You had to wait like a day or two before you could
Yeah,
actually
again,
see
that's
the
why
footage.
that's why I didn't. That's why I cut it some slack because
Yeah, but anyway,
so many
but this
decades
came
ago.
out. This was made in like the late 2000s. Like this, I think might have even been shot on digital. Like, let me check.
So yeah, it was kind of
2010.
distracting. Again though, because I took like a camera operating class this past semester, I noticed those things a lot more.
No, I mean I noticed it too. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like lots of people would just notice something out of focus. Like, focus is like the one thing I think is kind of distracting. Like, that's the one thing people do notice. But yeah, yeah. I was not a fan of the acting. I thought the acting was just kind of bad.
I have
and funny.
nothing against the actors, but
Yeah, nothing against the actors, but like,
yeah, it wasn't
it
good.
was not.
The
good
acting was. I'm not gonna say the acting was great, but I thought they conveyed like the terror pretty well. Like they sold me on like how scared they were. They were fine. Yeah, this movie pretty much was exactly what I thought it would be. They did everything I expected they would do with this premise. You know, somebody tries to jump off the lift, somebody tries to shimmy across the wire.
Yes. I guess my final thoughts is it does for ski lifts what Jaws did for the ocean.
That's a tagline on the box.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Jaws, I find it funny how back in our Jaws video, I said that the portion of the movie where they're on the boat and nothing happens was my favorite part.
No, yeah.
It's kind of weird how I feel the opposite towards this film. I guess it's because I don't like the cast.
Well, I mean, it's also like
maybe it's a location that I'm already familiar with, so I don't really sense that threat of danger. I don't know.
I'd say I think with Jaws is that one, you spend a good chunk of the movie getting to know these characters. Jaws is pretty well written, and also like those are some top-notch actors, like Richard Dreyfuss. He's like a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like I said, this one does hit me a bit more personally because of personal experience of stopping on ski lifts a lot.
Yeah,
like I remember one time, I do like the ocean. I love the ocean, but I've never really experienced much of shark activity.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going anywhere with this.
That's what makes it terrifying, because you haven't.
Jaws is obviously better, like no question about it.
Yeah, without a doubt. But like,
but like again, I think this is a great concept. Like,
yeah,
because let's be real, I'm sure we've all wondered like what if they leave me here like on a ski lift? Like ski lift stops, you're like, how long?
Listen, I'll say this. This movie was not bad enough for me to want to follow this up with another bad movie as revenge like last time. Like, nah, like I'm like, this was fine. Although since we brought up Jaws, I do kind of want to see a remake of this, but with Roy Schneider, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw.
That's kind of impossible.
I know, since like half of them are dead, but it'd still be just kind of funny to see it. But yeah, I give this like a 4 out of 10. I don't know. If you like this movie, watch Jaws and
for my money,
The Thing.
Actually, I can't say for my money because I didn't pay for this movie. I saw it for free. But I don't know. For my time, it was okay. Again, it was exactly what I thought it would be. So for that, I'm satisfied. It fucked me up a little bit, not gonna lie. But I mean, will I watch it again? Probably not. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah. So
and I gave this a 3 out of 10.
Okay, yeah. I'm ranking this below like The Disaster Artist.
I think I put it above Kick-Assia.
If you're intrigued by the premise like I was, check it out.
Yeah, it's only like 90 minutes. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's like not a much of an investment. Like
no, not really. And again, it's available for free on YouTube.
Oh, it is. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, all you need is an internet connection.
It's one of those movies that YouTube puts up for free with ads.
Okay, got it.
Fred, I know you usually recommend movies, but there were a few movies that popped into my head.
Yeah, go ahead.
Similar to this. I haven't seen them, but
I already said Jaws and The Thing. Like those are my
Yeah.
two recommendations.
I haven't seen these movies, but just based on the premise, there's a movie like this, except it's about two girls stuck under a pool cover.
That
I
sounds
forget,
a lot sillier, but yeah.
I forget what it's called. Like it's a recent movie, came out a few years ago. There's that, and there's also the movie. I think it was written by M. Night Shyamalan. That's about these people stuck in an elevator.
Oh yeah, Devil.
Devil, yeah, Devil. Those are the two movies I thought of. I've not seen those movies. I don't know anything about them other than their premise. But that's just
Yeah.
what I thought of, given like the isolation. Oh yeah, there's also that
I guess,
Ryan Reynolds. There's also that Ryan Reynolds movie where he's like trapped in a box underground.
Okay, then since you mentioned that, I guess I'll say The Hateful Eight because that's kind of got a wintery thing. It's about just a bunch of people. It's about a bunch of people trapped in a cabin because of a blizzard. So, written by Tarantino, made by Tarantino. So, yeah, check out that. I guess it's like 4 hours long though. So, Netflix broke it up into like a mini series, so like you can watch it as a 4 episode TV show instead. But yeah,
The Hateful Eight-parter.
yeah. Anyway, I guess
Your
any
turn.
last thoughts? Yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
No, I've said my piece. I thought the movie was
Yeah, I'm
alright.
done.
All right. So, coming up with this recommendation was an ordeal because I was like, all right, I want like to think of a really good way to open up the year. So like, and then I looked at all the previous stuff I recommended. I noticed I did a lot of psychological, surreal stuff and a lot of dark comedies. And I also did Throne of Blood, which is like a Shakespearean epic samurai film. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna avoid all of those and westerns. And I was like, okay, we haven't done romance. So I was thinking in the mood
We've
for that,
done
but then
tons of romance.
no, but we haven't done like an actual dedicated romance thing. Romance was always like a side effect. And I'm talking about like my last few recommendations. I'm only talking about
Okay.
like in context of what I recommended and what
Alright.
you guys recommended. But then I figured the only one I want to recommend was a Hong Kong movie. I was like, man, the last two movies I did were foreign films. I'm gonna ease up on that, so I'm not gonna do that. Basically, what I'm just saying, I came up with a few options. One of my options was a Suburban Nights, but like I said, feeling mercy, don't want to do it. So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys up for a double feature? I think these movies are good, and I was thinking, hey, we're on vacation, so I figured it might be a bit more feasible.
We could.
Depends what it is.
It's Signs and The Village.
Oh, speaking of Shyamalan,
Yeah, I figured open the year off with the Shyamalan double feature. That'd be like a good little.
but the
We
yearly
have not
twist-
talked about Shyamalan
Well,
yet, have we?
We have not
Nope.
talked about Shyamalan yet, and these are two movies that some people really, really love, like me, and some people think these are his first bad movies. But personally, I think these are his last two great movies. I actually like them more than Unbreakable and The Sixth Sense, which I feel like these two are worth talking because these are often the
Well, the only
people call-
Shyamalan movies that I've seen are Lady in the Water. If I think that's what it's called, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that and The Last
Last Airbender.
Airbender.
Yeah, so
Seen-
you only saw
I've
his
s-
bad stuff.
Yes.
I've seen Last Airbender and I've seen Sixth Sense.
I saw Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, these two, The Lady in the Water, and The Last Airbender, and Split. I've seen a lot of his movies, and I like most of them. But yeah, so you guys up
Lugia,
for Signs in the Village?
Lugia, do you want to do a double feature?
If you're comfortable with it.
Um,
How long are they?
I-
I think they're both under 2 hours. Let me see. Yeah, Signs is an hour and 40 minutes, and The Village is also an hour and 40 minutes. They're the same length.
I'm
Okay.
gonna be honest. I usually prefer just looking at movies individually, but it has been a while since we've done a double feature, so I guess I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I feel like these two are pretty tied together, and like,
All right.
yeah. Plus, The Village is a romance movie, so I got the romance thing I want to do in there. So hell yeah. And I've had Signs on my recommendation list for like so long, and I'm like, man, I should just get this over with.
Hey,
Yeah.
Look on the bright
Alright,
side. We're
so-
not doing Suburban Nights yet.
That makes me so happy.
Okay, so next week we're gonna do Signs and The Village by director M. Night Shyamalan.
Thanks for joining us again for It's Always Sunny in Hollywood. Stay safe, wear a mask, get vaccinated, all that good stuff.